spiritual shoes and walk with me. Hi, we meet again. Did you decide to take that spiritual walk with me? If you said, you know, Yolanda, I've been kind of listening to some of the things you're talking about. Some of them I agree, and some of them I'm kind of on the fence, as some people say. Well, let me share a story with you. This is another story regarding fear. Now, fear, again, comes in many disguises. And it shows up in our lives at different times. And as some of us, when it shows up, it's not the right time. Well, storms, when they come, it's like there's different forms of weather that take place. Like right now, we're in the month of May. And the weather, wherever you live, in the parts of this world, the weather can be different where you are, where the sun is shining. So sometimes life is shining. Everything seems to be going well. You're happy. You're blissful. Your health is good. Your finances is good. You're going on vacations. Your relationships are good with your family members, with your the person you love. Then that fear shows up. And some of us, at one point in our lives, it showed up and we didn't know how to handle that fear. And some fears, when they show up, they leave a mark that's very, very painful. And that mark travels throughout time with you, and you're just like, wow, what happened? And then later on in life, when you talk about that fear, it doesn't have a hold on you anymore. Because you understand that there was a roadmap that was left for you, for me, to follow, to overcome a lot of fears. Now, fear, when it's repackaged for the generation of the individuals at that time. Now, we're in the year 2021, the month of May. And so in 2021, we all know what took place in 2020. And it's still rolling over in 2021. So when somebody look at this video, no matter what year it is or what time of the month it is or what time of the day it is, it's considered my past, your future, and it becomes your now when you apply in your life to make changes for a better version of you. You know, that kind of went over my head, Yolanda. Okay, let me say it again. Because I'm speaking it, it already took place in my life, in my past, and now you're looking at it 30 days later, 1 hour later, 1 year from now. You're looking at this video. When I'm talking, it's the year 2021. And when you look at this video, it now becomes your future. And then some of the things I speak on, you may say, hey, man, I'm dealing with that. And you may say, man, right now I'm going to apply some of the things she's talking about. And so it becomes your now. So different parts of the world, certain fear is being used to keep a person in bondage, to keep them believing their greater version of what was put in them from the Creator that created you. So whatever you choose to call it, God, whoever or whatever you've been taught. You know, so many people, that's like an argument. And words, you have to understand, words have some type of impact on you. And whatever the meaning of that word is to you is based on what you have empowered yourself with, your thinking. What you have now saying, okay, I know I learned this in church, I learned this in high school, I learned this in college, I learned this from my parents. Now, me being on my personal spiritual journey, I get to now interpret based off my heart resonating with that thing, my spirit resonating with that thing, and me being able to be happy after I apply it. Now I can say on that spiritual journey that I chose, nobody's forcing me, nobody's pushing me, but it's something inside of me that's not comfortable with something. And remember, it's inside me. It's not in you. It's not in my mom. It's not in my dad. It's not in my sister, my brother, my co-worker, my spouse, whoever is in your life at that time. It's in you, which means it requires you to make that change. It requires you to enlighten yourself. But somebody already have traveled that journey. And that information is waiting for you. Somebody already did it. But in 2021, they've given it another name. They may have renamed it. And you're like, what are you talking about? They renamed. They renamed things. They change a lot of things. And when they change it, it makes it very difficult that when you hear me talk, whatever year, whatever time frame you receive this message, you may say, what is she talking about? What is she speaking about? What is the information she's referring to? What fear is she referring to? Because I don't have that fear. Then this message may not be for you. This message may be for someone else that you know, or this message may not be for you at this time in this moment, but you're listening to something that is resonating with your spirit, that is resonating with your energy. Remember we talked about energy. Everything is energy. So energy doesn't die. It doesn't go away. It just transforms into something else, which allows someone else to rename it. So if you pick up a book and they're talking about metaphysics, or if they're talking about positive energy, yin and yang, you're trying to figure out, okay, how does that apply to my current situation? Because they rename things, it makes it very hard for you to now apply it to what's going on in your life. So as your spiritual journey continues to go forth, you're going to find what resonates with you. You're going to find someone that's speaking your language, someone that relates to your circumstance, someone relates to the fear that's trying to take a toll on you, or that fear that you're trying to, you recognize it as fear, and you recognize it that this is something I got to remove out of my life. Now I'm going to touch on something regarding fear. So let's say the fear of loving yourself, loving the way, something you don't like about your physical self. Now you may say, well, I don't have no problems with the way I look. I like how I look. Then this topic is not talking to you as an individual, but it may be another fear that you're sweeping under the rug, you're choosing to ignore, but it's affecting you from moving forward. And moving forward always stops all of us, because you have to ask yourself, if God leave you here, now I'm over 50, I'm in my late 50s, so if God left me here for someone else to have the opportunity to listen to me or encounter me and ask me questions, what greater information than to be able to ask that physical person some questions that's pertaining to the individual that feels this person can help me. I want you to think about that. I want you to quiet yourself right now. Just love on yourself right now. Just listen to the sound of the birds, the sound of water. Sometimes you have to quiet yourself and learn to listen. Not listen with the intent to respond to the person, but listen with the intent to say, can I apply those principles on a certain fear that has resonated in me, and I want it removed. So sometimes you just have to sit down and be quiet. You have to enlighten yourself. You have to spiritually come alive and become that sun that rises every day that God gives us. And that moon that shines the light at night. Just imagine if those things go away. So ask yourself, why I'm allowing fear to rule over me? I'm not enjoying the things that God has given me every day. When the sun rises, it causes things to grow. It heats up the planet in a good way. When you go outside and it's nice and shiny, sunny, you feel good. That sun feels good on you. You can almost feel the energy just transforming you throughout your whole body. And then the moon at night, when you get to watch the sun set and then you're sitting outside at night, you see that moon that just light up. So imagine if we have a power outage, poof, your normal lights, which is energy. Let's say those lights go out. So then there's the moon. It's lighting up the darkness. So the moon has its purpose, the sun has its purpose, and you have your purpose. You just have to take care of it by spiritually recognizing things that don't belong in your life. And some of those things that don't belong in your life or my life, we have to individually quiet ourselves, sit down, and begin to remove those things that don't belong in our lives, that are slowing us down, causing harm, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You need to recognize that. And you need to be willing to make the necessary changes so that you can go through life not being unhappy, not being angry, not saying, why me? But you have the opportunity to go through life that when circumstances come your way, you understand that there's circumstances. And circumstances change. Just like the sun rises in the morning, the sun sets. Problems rise in our life, and sometimes problems go. Because situations change because you chose to change how you operate toward that situation. How you operate when that fear shows up. How you operate when things don't go your way. How you operate when you have to curve you to please other people that you say you love. Step back. Quiet yourself. Quiet your mind. Quiet your thoughts. A lot of times we have to replace our thoughts. Because the things that we keep putting most of our attention to, our physical appearance, what we put on, the cars we drive, the houses we have, all those things is nice. But sometimes all those things would also keep you in a certain place of fear. Because you're like, oh man, I'm afraid I can't pay my house payment. I'm afraid I can't pay my car payment. I can't buy that outfit that I wanted, that I saw online. And your closet is probably full of clothes. You probably have many cars. And you probably have many houses. But take time to enjoy the things that make you a better version of you. Not trying to take away from the outside possessions that you choose to surround yourself with. I'm just saying, surround yourself with loving yourself. And loving yourself is choosing words that cause you to rise up over your fear, that cause you to rise up over your circumstances, and that causes you to rise up sometimes, fight for another person that needs your physical strength. And that's where sometimes people say, she intimidates me. No, you are designed to rise up and help certain people who cannot help themselves. And so I found most of those people spoke out and up for me when I couldn't help myself. And today I am thankful for each and every person that did that for me, because I didn't have a voice. I was afraid. I was afraid that if I spoke up, the reaction that was going to happen. And then there comes a time you said, man, I know I'm going to have to suffer the consequences, but I'm finna speak up. There's some things you're going to fight for, and you understand there's some consequences attached to that thing. Now, do you get to choose some of the consequences? No. Some of them you say, I know it's coming, so I'm going to prepare myself. And that is because you have learned some of the things you are going to have to push past in life. And some of them you're going to be crying, you're going to be hurt, and you're going to say, but you don't understand. And that's, so many people say that, you don't understand. No, we do understand. That's why we're sharing these videos with you now. It's the year 2021. There are certain things that we didn't go through that now you guys are going through. There's certain things our parents went through that we didn't go through that now we're going through. Each generation is going to say that, saying, you don't understand. No, we do understand. That's why God has left people like us still alive for you to talk to us, because we do understand. We get it, and we survived it. So now we're here to share it with you. So there's so many people here to share things with you so that you don't have to go through this. Now, let me rephrase that. Let me re-say that. Some things you're going to have to go through. It's just a matter of you sitting still once it passed. But there are some things we all must go through because it makes us a better version of us. And it allows that God's strength to come out of us instead of that fear that makes us shrink. But that God power in us that causes us to rise up. Remember, we are in the image and in His likeness. Now, some people say, so what you trying to say? I'm not trying to say anything. Wherever you're thinking in your mind is how you interpret things. That's in your mind. Your words, your emotion, those are yours. But I understand that there are certain words that when you speak them, you give them life. And everything God spoke, it came into existing. So if He tell you there's death and life in the power of your words, then you might want to choose life. And every now and then, because of all the things that we have learned throughout our course and our traveling and our relationships, some of those things have caused us to, again, operate in fear. So we keep speaking things that are not life. Speak life today. Look at these plants. They are full of life. They're green. They're full of oxygen. And they don't even talk. But they just need me to water them. And they need me to speak life over them. And they need me to take care of them. But if I don't take care of them, and I put them outside, God causes it to rain, the sun. So needs water, needs sun, and they grow. So you need what God has put on this earth for you to grow. So your spiritual journey is your spiritual journey. No one else can take that credit for you. You're the only one. You're the only one with your fingerprints. I'm the only one with my fingerprints. So there's some things that's specifically for you and you alone. So again, I'm going to ask you, are you ready to take that spiritual walk with me? Because us taking spiritual walk together, we are looking to empower each other. Not tear each other down, but empower. And so until you love yourself, you may do things wrong to me, and you'll think it's okay. But because I love myself, I may say, hey, you know, nah, nope. That's a no. That's a no. That's a no. That's a no. So you have to be responsible for you. I'm not asking you to be responsible for me. I'm asking you to be responsible for you. And the things you do to me, they're going to come back on you anyway. So you need to be very, very selective of how you handle God's creation, all of it, from the trees to the animals to his people. We're going to be held accountable on how we took care of his creation. And I'm going to ask you again, are you ready to take that spiritual walk? So if you've decided to do that, welcome aboard. But if you haven't made up in your mind yet what you decide, I get it too. It's okay. But whatever you decide to do, I wish you well. I wish you nothing but happiness. I wish you nothing but peace. And I thank you. And I thank God for this technology to be able to talk to another person around the world and at the same time be in the comfort of my own space. So again, love and peace. I'm out.